Hey everyone, welcome back to In My Beauty Bag, the beauty of business with balance. If you missed me, I took off a week and I will be sharing some exciting news with you. But before we get started, let's take a moment to get grounded so that we can have this conversation. Take a moment to pause, take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And you can repeat that one more time in through your nose and out through your mouth. Great, let's get started. So, we're going to jump into new horizons, expanding your business internationally. I'm your host, Yamina Childress, mom, entrepreneur, founder of Yanni Beauty and Contractor AI, and your legal and business consultant at Integral Start Consulting. And I'm so happy to be with you again this week, talking about the benefits of expanding your business internationally. But before I start, I want to tell you why this is the perfect time to talk about this. So, I have made the decision to move myself and my family to Portugal. So, if you don't know, we are from the US, of course, and we now reside in Portugal. And so that was a big move for us. But not only was it a big move for myself and my family, it also opened up different doors for the expansion of Yanni Beauty and bringing tech into new places as they're building up their tech scene here in Portugal, bringing contractor AI. And so I'm super excited about that. And let me know if you've ever relocated, right? Especially into another country. I have been working on this for, thinking about it for a couple of years and really made that decision in 2024. And with that, I knew there would be some changes that I needed to make at Yanni Beauty, especially because of our local retail presence. But Yanni Beauty is still very much a small family owned business, even though we may have a couple of employees. Most of the day to day operations still depend on myself, my co founder, which is my daughter Shania, my other daughter, who is our esthetician, and just our small team. And so I knew that I would need to start unlocking some of those international opportunities since I could not be in Georgia to actually run the store. So we're going to talk more about some of the benefits of expanding your business globally, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be products, it can be services, it can be technology. It's always a great idea to think about a global audience and a global market. But before we jump into all of those things, I know I'm pausing, but one of the things I realized in some of the other episodes this season, I didn't talk about what was in my beauty bag. Okay, this is in my beauty bag. And so this week's feature is the Yanni Beauty Mango Breeze Eye Gel Roller. This is a travel friendly beauty product. And so I thought it was perfect as we're talking about expansion and travel. It is my go to for long hauls because you roll it under your eyes and it reduces redness, it reduces puffiness. And it's great because a lot of times when we're on long haul flights, we may retain water, our face may get a little puffy, or you just may be tired. And so having a Mango Breeze roller with you, you can roll it on at any given time. It is TSA approved for size, and it's still made with all natural ingredients. So go ahead and check that out. Now let's jump into the main topic, and that is, of course, taking your business globally. So why consider international expansion? For one, you open new market opportunities. You can diversify your income streams. and you can reach a broader audience. I know that many times we think about, as we grow our business, maybe to a new city or a new state. And I'm specifically talking to US based businesses because the US has so many different states. And so when we're thinking about expanding, we may think about, that regional expansion into other states, right? But many times I don't hear a lot of business owners talking about actually expanding outside of the United States. When you're thinking about your expansion, you also want to think about some of the key legal and operational considerations, such as your business structure for international markets. Like, do you need to change? Will you need to open up a foreign entity in those markets? You also want to think about taxes and compliance. And we're going to go back and really discuss these, and also thinking about hiring across borders, right? And then finally, thinking about some of the marketing and scaling strategies you'll need to implement, such as understanding cultural differences and those nuances, how to localize your branding, because again, we all have different cultures, and things that may fit for one demographic may not fit for the next. So you're thinking about that, and then leveraging like e-commerce and things for global distribution. So let's go back to the international expansion and why you should consider it. And so, new market opportunities. When Yanni Beauty decided that our next move was to expand internationally, it came for different reasons, right? It came because everything is so expensive in our area, and people are actually struggling to pay bills and rents and buy food. And so when you think about beauty, and especially Yanni Beauty is a mass-stage beauty brand, and so prices can be steep for some people. And when they're thinking about the things that they need to spend their money on, they're not thinking about spending, $40 on their skincare maybe, because that $40 could be the difference between food or gas in their car for the week to make it to and from work. And we definitely understand that we are all living the same human experience, and being that area, we really understand that luxury beauty may not be the priority for a lot of people at this time. And so what we needed to do is think about other markets that were not impacted by our local economy, right? And so we thought about where could we go, what market is fresh for us, and how we could tap into that market. And so I want you to think about the same things. Your expansion may not be by force, right? But it should always be kind of at the top of your mind if you want to grow a large business. And I do know that some of us just want to have that family business. We want to be a solopreneur and just have the flexibility of being a business owner. But if you are looking to expand and looking for true expansion, international markets is the thing. I can't remember. I was at some event or conference, and I remember someone telling me that everybody buys, right? And so we look at our local market and we think, hey, this is our customer, but the world buys products and services. And so you can have many more customers if you think outside of the box and outside of your local areas. And that really helps you reach that broader audience. And there may also be opportunities where you can diversify your income for your business. One of the things that I have implemented very recently since my move is business consulting for entrepreneurs and businesses who want to expand internationally. My primary business consultant focus was US based businesses, but I have had the opportunity to be able to consult and coach entrepreneurs on global expansion outside of the US and into the US using my knowledge of, regulations and contracts from my law background and the business background. And so you can even think about maybe there's opportunity to expand what you already do by having a broader audience, right? And then thinking about like the contracts and regulations, what are some of those legal and operational considerations? So business structure, you may or may not need to change your business structure. But what you may need to do if you are expanding into an international market is open a foreign entity within that local market. And so that may mean if you have an LLC in the US, you may have a different business structure in, let's say, in Nigeria or in the UK. You will set up something different as a foreign entity. And so you will think about those business structures and what works best for you. And a lot of those kind of moves into the other point is that will be based off taxes and compliance, right? And so for us at Yanni Beauty, expanding into like the UK market or the EU market, we have to think about things like that. We don't have to think about that in the US. And so having to register for that, having to be approved for it, and then, thinking about compliance. We are in the beauty industry, and the beauty industry is a lot more highly regulated in Europe than it is in the US. And so that means, product testing, product packaging, making sure that it fits into that market and is legally compliant, right? And so you want to consider the different regulations that you may have to follow if you are expanding into a new market. And that's one of those things you kind of look up front, because you may have an idea to expand in this location, but there may be an easier or better tract to expand in another location. And so you want to consider those things. And then you also want to consider hiring across borders. So for Yanni Beauty, we are expanding through e-commerce first, and things like, e-commerce platforms that we utilize, such as our Amazon store. And that way we don't currently need our own international team because we are, for instance, being fulfilled by Amazon. But let's say that you need a sales team, and truthfully, we are looking into like content creators and influencers and marketing strategists in the other locations. But you may need a sales team, you may need customer service, you may need new consultants. Consider what that will take to hire those people, what their minimum wages are, how that works into benefits maybe. Are there requirements for employees abroad to work for companies in your location, whether it's the US or wherever it is? Can they legally work for you? And so I want you to also think about those things. And I didn't say it, but make sure that you have your pen and paper or your notes ready so that you can just start to write down some of those considerations that you need, such as the legal and operational and compliance things, and really just kind of identifying your new market, right? And then going into marketing and scaling strategies, a lot of us need to understand cultural differences. So if you are expanding into an area where you are not very familiar, the best thing you can do is learn to understand their culture, right? Because something that may be culturally relevant where you live may not be so much so in another location. And so you want to, change your marketing strategies to appease to that culture. You can't just decide that, oh, I'm from here and this is how I'm going to show up. You may need to show up your brand and your business in a different way based off of cultural differences. Then you want to learn how to localize your branding, right? And so, for instance, you may have a certain color packaging or a style of packaging or just, a way that your brand shows up in your local area. But sometimes you need to change that branding for the new area. You need to localize that branding because, again, some things may be relevant for your area and really may be something that truly sparks something for your customer or client, but it doesn't have the same effects for other people in other areas. And so you want to make sure that when you are thinking about your branding and your marketing, to speak their language, so to speak, right? You want to learn how to do that because that'll help you really engage with local audiences and local customers. And then leverage things like e-commerce if you're a product-based business, global distribution. Like for instance, like I said, I use Amazon fulfillment, so I'm able to fulfill products from their fulfillment centers in other countries, because we are expanding into a few countries, and so able to tap into that, but also able to just use our own e-commerce website where we have translated the website for our new international market. Therefore they can shop directly with us and truly understand our store, our brand. And so you want to think about that. And if you are, let's say, a service-based business, you really want to tap into local organizations that you can learn from, that can make connections for your type of business and your type of client. Local chambers of commerce in the international market, and really start to learn and meet people and meet organizations to help you, reach that new service-based client. This episode is short and sweet. And so before we leave, I want to give you some of my final thoughts. I want to truly encourage you to think about your business on a global scale. How can you tap into the billions of people on earth and not just the local community, right? How can you show up for your business where you are not just thinking small, you are thinking on a massive scale? Even if that's not today, you are already putting the plan in place in order to grow sooner and faster. I want you to truly tap into, again, some of those resources from international markets. Again, they have chambers of commerce that have, they may even have like partnerships with your local chambers. For instance, here in Portugal, they have a U.S. Portugal Chamber of Commerce. And so I can kind of get the benefit of the U.S. Market and the Portuguese market. And so you may want to think about something like that. I want you to tap into even some of these past episodes that will give you more ideas and more strategies in order to build your business. And then I want you to, reach out if you are in the position to scale, or if you are ready to have that conversation, and see how Integral Start Consultants can help you get there. Because being able to now offer our services on a global scale has been a game changer, and we really want to share that with the next generation of entrepreneurs who will scale beyond their local borders. If you are considering taking your business beyond the borders, I want you to drop a comment on my YouTube channel. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a message or send me a message wherever you are hearing this, because I would really truly love to hear your thoughts. I love to hear about your international expansion experiences, in ways that, even if not myself, how can we all utilize each other and our services in order to expand beyond borders, right? So I encourage you to think about your international expansion, think about your marketing, think about your legal and operational considerations, and really learn about that new potential market. So, thank you for listening to episode 9 of In My Beauty Bag. I will be dropping another episode this week to make up for lost times. And so, I will see you soon. And thank you for listening. Bye.